Hi, this is Scott Jordan, and you are watching live in my den, and we're going to do a little demonstration today. We're going to show you how to make the best sangria in the world, and mine is by far the best. And it really starts out not so much with the fruit, but really the quality of the wines that you're using. The wines I'm using tonight, in fact, all of these have been in my garage for probably a month and a half, 2 months, probably almost 2 months, some even a little bit longer. Because when you're making sangria, the thing that you really want to capture is you want to capture the alcohol and the structure of the wine. The mere fact that this is oxidized doesn't have anything to do with the sangria, because the fruit is going to mask all that. So you're not going to open this up and drink it. I mean, it's obviously very oxidized, but it doesn't lose its structure, doesn't lose its alcohol. And so when you're making sangria, or use this the same way if you're going to make a dinner, and in the recipe it calls for wine, go ahead and use wines that you didn't finish. This wine came from the winery, but we don't let them, we don't pour wines that are 3 days old. So I take those and make sangria with them. And so what you can do is you open up a bottle and you didn't finish the whole thing, and maybe it's got about this much in there, and maybe the next day you're probably maybe not getting after it. Well, not a big problem. Just take a wine box and put it in there, put the cork on it, and it's ready to go. And so you can make sangria with it, you can cook with it. And never, ever, ever cook or try to make sangria with wine that you don't like. That's really crappy wine. Don't do that. You will be very disappointed. And so I want you to make sure that you definitely do that, and keep a box going, and you'll be surprised. You will notice that over time you'll acquire quite a few wines. Now tonight I'm putting in wines that are ultra premium. This group of wines that I have tonight, they're all from Robert Young Estate in Alexander Valley. That's some of the best juice in the whole valley, without a doubt. And but you really want to raise the bar up. Don't put crappy wine in anything that you have to eat or drink. So just don't do it. All right, so let's talk about the recipe. It's really simple. It's lime, it's lemons. These are off of our lemon tree because it has part of the tree in there, just like that, see? And orange, and then pineapple, fresh pineapple, not some weird, thing, nothing in a can. Use real pineapple if you can get it. Most places have it. Shouldn't be a big deal to get. It's a little more fresh, and that's really what you want. You want really good fruit. I'm going to check my phone only because I want to make sure that I'm not missing somebody, or somebody couldn't get in. They wanted to see the broadcast, and so we're going to start right from the beginning here. I use a 1 gallon container to set up everything. Normally I have 2 of them. I'm missing one for some reason, but anyway, I make enough for 2 of these. And as we go along, I'll explain why I do it. It's part of the process. And it's a way for you to get lots of mileage out of the sangria, because you can, as long as you do a few things correct, like pulling the rinds out at a certain point, this will last for a month, 2 months. It's not going to get bad, and nothing bad's going to happen to the wine at all. The only thing that you have to do is after a couple batches, you want to pull the rinds out, and we'll talk about that. So all you're doing is you're just cutting these up. This is a really nice knife. It came from my grandson, but he's old enough to be able to have a knife like this. He's not as young as the other grandsons. He's 19. So, but he bought us a really nice knife, and so we're using that. And we're just gonna slice these up, you're gonna slice them up, and then they're gonna go right into the can. And so, you know, I'm not the best cutter on the planet, but you know, these can also work as a garnish if you want. I serve when we get this all done. I don't want to cut my finger off. So I think I better be careful here. This is a very sharp knife. Anyway, you can use this as a garnish on the glass. But what I do now is I don't put any ice in here. What we're going to do is we're going to put this fruit in, and then we're going to put in all the wine, and then we're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then we're going to add ginger ale, and you're going to add a little bit of lemonade. Okay, so that's the only ingredient. Yeah, sure. That's not a word, is it? The only thing to add to this that I don't have right here in front of me, because we're not going to put in the ginger ale, but I'll show you the way to know how much to put into the can or into your container. These are really, really nice, beautiful lemons. Oh man, those are really nice. Now, the lemons, you got to do a little extra work, okay? They have seeds in them, and so you got to get the seeds out, because you don't want that to come out in your glass. That would be really awful. So there's kind of a little trick. It's not, you know, life changing, but there is a little trick on getting the seeds out. And I just use the knife, and this is a really, really sharp knife, so I got to really be careful. And then those of you that are just watching, just hang in there, because I'll open this up for questions as we go along. So what I'm looking for is a seed. I don't see a seed in there at all. When you see a seed, you can just take this like that, just go like that, and get that bad boy off of there, and then you're good to go. They're usually pretty easy to come off. You just don't want them in there, because they're going to make it a little sour, maybe. It might end up in your glass. So these are pretty clean. These are really, really nice, right on our tree. I live in Northern California, if you don't really know. Anybody that's watching this, today is Tuesday, I don't even know, what is today, 27th or something, anyway, of April. And I've got all kinds of lemons on our tree, and so that works out pretty good, especially when you're making this sangria. Yeah, this is going to be a good batch. That's some really this stuff, you can't even believe how fragrant this is. This is just amazing. So that is awesome. Whoops, get that seed out of there. You're just pointing this at the seed and popping it out, no big deal. And you do that, and you can use that one. Okay, so you got all of those, and then we do the orange, and that's the orange, because these are really big oranges, So what I do is I cut these in quarters or halves. Well, I guess, yeah, halves once we get them done there, because they'll let off a little more juice when you do that. So so I'm just going to go like that and put them in there. Now I've washed my hands, and so don't freak out if you see that I'm not wearing gloves. I don't have to wear gloves as long as I wash my hands. So I do that. I wash them all the time. Anyway, so no one will die. But I guess my kids are going to have this. They'll be drinking it this weekend. We're going to be in the pool because the weather is really good here, man. It's in the 70s. So that pool is starting to warm up. So yeah, we're going to get right after that. So so you put, again, you're going to put this in here. You're going to put it in the refrigerator overnight, and then you're going to add ginger ale. It's about a cup of ginger ale and a little lemonade, and you can add a little less or more depending on what your taste buds like. I've done this so often that I literally I can do it, you know, with one eye closed, basically. I'm putting a pretty good amount of fruit in there. That's not going to hurt anything. Normally I have 2 batches going at the same time, but I was running around looking for another container that I didn't have. So anyway, so there's your lemon, lime, and orange. And again, on the pineapple, you get a nice fresh pineapple, you pull the head off of it. Now I cut this different than one of my sons, Kevin, who swears I'm doing this incorrectly. So if you see this and you agree with me, that's good news. If not, you know, you can disagree with me and send me an email. I'll send it to my son. He'll be really happy, and he'll give me a hard time because he wants me to go down the side like this. But I like making that because I want this cut inside of there. One of the things you can do, now this is a pretty big pineapple, so all I'm doing is I'm just cutting the edges off of here. Okay, I'm cutting the edges off. You can lose a bunch of it, it's okay. But that's all you want to do is you want to cut that rind off of there, because that's not going to help you. Now, when you start pouring out all the sangria, and it comes down to maybe about here, you can make another batch. In other words, add more wine in there and put it overnight, and then a little bit of the ginger ale and a little bit of the lemonade. And that's about as far as you want to go with this fruit in here. And so when it goes down again, take the rinds out, but leave the pineapple in there, because the pineapple doesn't have rind on it, and it'll just give you flavor. So the only thing you need to add to the batch would be a little bit of the lemon, lime, and let me get one more. Lemon, lime, and orange. So let me go one more here. I'm going to use this for another batch because the pineapple's pretty big. So I don't need all of that at this point. I got to leave a little room for wine. I am definitely using a small container. I usually do 2 of these. That's if you get 2 of these, that's 2 gallons of sangria. That'll make you crazy. Now, sangria the recipes that you see all the time says to add a liquor in there. You do not need it, and don't do it. Don't do it. It's already got alcohol in it, and then this is going to end up fermenting a bit, and the alcohol levels are going to jump. So don't put more alcohol in there because it'll knock your teeth out. All right, this is Robert Young Scion Cabernet Sauvignon 2017, and man, they just pour that bad boy right in there. Now, these bottles don't have a huge amount in them. Some of them do, and I won't have to go too far. This is Merlot 2018. Whoops, getting carried away here. And then we've got, then this was a real bonus because there was an event. They didn't finish using the bottles, and it was too late. So I had to take it home because you can't use, you know, crappy wine. You got to have the best. So, and you're not going to pour that. It's oxidized, but there's nothing wrong with it in the sangria. No way. It's perfectly fine. So this is going to be a really rich, big wine. Here's the other thing. I'm putting in big reds. You can add Chardonnay if you want to put Chardonnay in there. It's not going to change the color at all. The structure of the wine is still there and the alcohol is still there. So it's not a big deal. So don't worry about it. You can definitely do that. I'm going to put in a little bit of more of this. This is the 2018 Scion Cab. That's some good juice. All right, so this is about all you want to put in there. See where we are. Here's the top. You're leaving this much here for your ginger ale and the lemonade, and that's really all you do. And so the real key is you've got to, you know, gather a few bottles here and there, but you got to remember that after day 2, in the best conditions, that wine is no good to drink in a glass like I'm doing here, drinking in a glass. It's not gonna. It's starting to fall apart. And don't listen to the wizards that tell you, well, you know, you can you know, you can get the argon gas, you can pump the thing to get all the air out. When half the bottle is air, you're not getting that out of there, and you're not preserving that wine. There's no way it's going to be preserved to the letter that you really should have it at. It should be at the same level that you would have when you first open it. This is a Merlot, by the way, 2018 from Robert Young. Not too bad. That's legit, man. That's totally legit. All right, so let me go over some of the rules on redoing this. Once you get the batch the way you like it, with a little more ginger ale and a little bit of lemonade, and then you pour through it. But what you want to do is you want to take your glass and put a little ice in it. Do not put ice in here. Keep this thing in the refrigerator. And if you're going outside to your pool, then what you want to do is you want to put this in a cooler so it stays nice and cold. Do not put ice in here. Do not do that. It's going to turn into water, and water will kill the wine, and then you have a mess. Okay, so rule number 1, big time important: use your ultra premium wines. Do not put crappy wine in your sangria. Don't do it. I don't care what your friends tell you, your Uncle Ned. It doesn't matter. They're wrong. And until you can make a batch as good as I just made, you're not changing the formula if you want to have really good sangria. And here's the other part of this. This is not overly sweet. And what turns people off, because some of my, some of you that are watching this, now that I have it, I'll have it up on the website. You're wine enthusiasts, and I really like that. And you like your big wines. I mean, you just do. And that's pretty cool. But let me tell you, if you're out by the pool and it's 85 degrees, or those of you that live in the East Coast, you live east of Colorado, your humidity is really high. It's hot. 80 degrees is really warm. And you're not gonna be looking for a big cab like this. You gotta have something that's a little chilled. And maybe you're not a big rosé person, then this is the next move that you want to make. But make it with wine that you love. And then if you're not using it in a sangria, keep the wine in a box somewhere in the kitchen that you can get to, or you can keep it right in your like I do. I keep mine in my garage, because I don't care how hot it gets. It has nothing to do with it. It's you want the structure and you want the alcohol. That's what you want. So that's your number one thing. And then use really nice wines, and don't fool around. And again, you can make this. I went ultra premium big reds just because I had the bottles here. So, but you could certainly add. Again, you could certainly add a Chardonnay in there. You could add any white wine. I over the years have made my own champagne. And so I put champagne in there because the bubbles that you get in the champagne fall apart a bit inside of here, so it's not all fizzy. And but you're getting the structure of the wine and the alcohol, so no problem. So you can mix that up any way that you want. The color's not going to change a whole lot unless you dominate it with white. Sometimes I've had boxes where most of the wine was white wine, so I make a little lighter version of that, but it's still very approachable, and you like it. So you're using a method to make really the best sangria in the world, and I stand on that. And if you don't think it's the best in the world, you didn't make it right. So start with the best wines that you have. Don't compromise. Don't put junk in there. No junk. Don't add alcohol. Do not add alcohol. This is going to ferment on its own, and the alcohol is going to jump on this. I've had batches that were a week old, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, you had a little taste of that, and it knocked you back a little bit. So yeah, just take it easy. But yeah, it doesn't, all the recipes call for adding additional alcohol. I say no, don't do it. Don't do it. You'll be disappointed. It'll unbalance the wine, because the wine's still pretty darn good. And the fact that it's oxidized, again, non-issue. It is not an issue. And for cooking, it's perfect for that. No question about it. And so what you would do, again, you drink down on this, add more wine to it, put it overnight again, and then add your ginger ale and your lemonade, and then drink it down, and then get the rinds out. At that second batch, get the rinds out of there. And then if you have more wine to make another batch, then buy more fruit and fill the container up with the fruit and start the process over, and just keep doing that. You could do that. I don't know. I mean, at one time we did it I think I did it for a month and a half in the tasting room when I had my tasting room. And it was so darn good. I went, well, let's keep going. I mean, let's push the envelope. I don't know if there's a timeline. I really don't. If you keep, changing the the fruit out. And you can make batches as big as you want. Now, I have a big, cooler with a spigot on the bottom, and that's like 5 gallons. And I've made that worked pretty darn good. And so you can do it in big quantities, but you got to manage the fruit a little bit. You just don't want the rinds to make it bitter. That's not the most fun thing in the planet. So manage that part. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna be rock star for sure, because we put in great ingredients and we started with some of the best wine you can have. Now, those of you that are watching this on the website, if you don't know about us from Beans, that's good news. Because we love to show you what we do. I sell wine to people every quarter, every calendar quarter. We send out 4 bottles or more to our wine club. They get 20% off on most wines. And these are wines that I have found over the years that you don't know anything about. There's no way you would know anything about these wineries, because some of them make as little as 300 cases. Now, that might be a lot for your garage, but that is not a lot in the wine industry. I want you to know that. Most of them that I have dealt with over the years, they don't even have a tasting. I mean, they're selling direct to consumer. So the cool thing about our club and what we do, we let you pick what you want. So you have a pretty big portfolio that you can look at. And you're gonna find there's a reason that I pick these wines, because when we opened our tasting room, just to give you a little pitch here. When we opened our tasting room, we brought in wineries, but you know what we did? We tasted every wine they made. And if we didn't like all of it, we took none of it. So what that did, it gave us an advantage, because you have no idea, about these wineries if you live, out of California. And, but I do. And so you can take advantage of that and be a wine club member. And you will not be disappointed. I've had wine club members that have been with us from day one. That's like now going on 13 years. That's unheard of in the industry. The industry average lifespan of a wine club member is 18 months. So if they're sticking around for a long time, it's not because they just love me. It's because we deliver the goods. And I only deal in the ultra premium market. I don't deal in the grocery store stuff. You guys can buy that on your own. You don't need me for that. But you need me for these wineries, because you'd never find them in 100 years. And so they make, killer wines. So enjoy your sangria. Email us at sjordan@sellersofsonoma.com. and let us know how your batch came out. Take a picture or something, send it to me. That would be very interesting. But don't mess with the formula, okay? Make it the way it was designed. It's not going to get better when you change the formula. It's not going to do that. I've been making this for, well, probably 10 years at least. So we're glad that you tuned in. Those of you who are watching live on our website, and give us a holler, and we'll be happy to get you hooked up and get you some of the best wines you'll ever have forever. So we're going to open the to the group that's here. We didn't anticipate we would have a bunch of people, but I do have a family member that came in, and that's my son Scott. He even looks like me. It's crazy. So Scott, how's it going?
Good. now that I'm in the liquor industry, I have a sour cherry liqueur that actually I think would go well with your sangria.
Wow. Now I've never tried any other, type of liqueur. So would you say that it would completely be on its own with the fruit? Is that what you're
Yeah, it
saying?
would just add a little extra flavor to it. You know, it doesn't taste like a typical liqueur. It's more like a fruit juice in the taste. So I think it would fit right in.
So you think you would do it, um,
It's
you would
18%.
put it together with the fruit like I did the fruit here?
Well, I think you'd pour some of it in like you would the bottles of wine. I
Oh,
don't know
right.
how.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I guess that's what I meant.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's pretty cool. So, well, I guess the only way to find out is either you make it or send it to me and I'll make it.
Yeah, I have to get you a bottle. I
So
find out where they
I'm
sell it.
okay with that. That's a great thing. So tell, people are going to be watching this live on the website. So just tell them the name of the product. Um, and maybe what we'll do is either you make a batch or I'll make a batch, and then we'll have a way to say, okay, that worked pretty darn good.
Yeah, it's called Ginja 9 and it's a sour cherry liqueur and it's good for all sort of craft cocktails. So if you're making a mojito, an old fashioned, I'm even using it as a orange juice replacement on a mimosa. Now it makes the mimosa pretty heated because it's 18%,
Ouch.
but it tastes good um, on its own.
Okay, all right, that's cool. I like that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. So okay, well, so I guess my son, you'll have to get me some samples, and I'll be happy to make a batch to match up whatever I see. I don't know how the hell you get it to me. I guess you do it just like wine, right? I don't know if it really
Yeah,
works.
I mean they sell it online.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Okay.
know if it's in any liquor stores by you because the rep is in like Sacramento area, so I don't
Oh, okay.
think she gets that
All
far.
right. So, well, let's explore that over the summer, and let's find out if it does work in that regard. That could be just a nice little extra bonus, and that could be kind of cool.
Yeah, trying to figure out what ratio to put in there would be the tricky part. Otherwise, I guess if you poured it in your glass, like added it on top of, throw like maybe a shot worth into the in your glass as you're drinking it. I don't know if that'd be too overbearing or not, but you
Yeah,
definitely have to.
so it'll have to have enough to kind of play with a little bit. Maybe it would be in lieu of, you probably wouldn't need the ginger ale and the lemonade.
Or maybe a little less, but it's gonna be pretty strong at 18%. You don't want to. But I guess
Well,
it's the
yeah,
same as the
yeah. I
wine, so it
wouldn't I
would work
wouldn't put
then.
it with the wine. I don't think that mix would work. Would you? Would it? I don't think so.
Well, cherry and grapes, pretty similar. I don't know. You'd have to kind of play with it.
All right. Well, we're going to be together at some point easily in Thanksgiving. So what the heck? We can experiment. Yeah,
Yeah, that'd be fun.
that would be really fun. Well, that's great. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. And for everybody else, we're Sellers of Sonoma. That's how you can find us right on the website. You can just hit a link and you'll be able to see all the wines that we produce and have, and then you're in good shape. So thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.
So yeah.
And I assume that recording, why is it still saying recording? Well, how do I turn that off? Whoops, did I lose you? I did.